Hold on to your hats, folks, because the Republicans are at it again. This time, their target is none other than Google, the tech giant that knows more about you than your own mother. Forget about inflation, immigration, or even the looming threat of climate change. The GOP has a new enemy in sight: Google's content moderation policies. They're crying foul, claiming that Google is biased against conservative voices. Apparently, being able to find dirt on any subject imaginable within milliseconds just isn't enough for these guys. They want to control the narrative, and they're not afraid to drag Google through the mud to do it. Ted Cruz, the senator who once bravely fled to Cancun during a Texan winter storm, is leading the charge. He's joined by Jim Jordan, a man who looks like he's permanently smelling something unpleasant. Together, they're turning up the heat on Google, threatening legislation and demanding answers. Google, for its part, is trying to play it cool. They're denying any bias, claiming they're just trying to keep the internet a safe and welcoming place. But with the GOP breathing down their necks, it's only a matter of time before things get really interesting. Ted Cruz, a man whose face seems perpetually locked in a grimace, sees a conspiracy around every corner. And now he's set his sights on Google. Cruz, wielding the Senate Commerce Committee like a rusty spork, claims Google is silencing conservative voices. His evidence? Well, that's a bit like finding a sober Irishman on St. Patrick's Day. You might find one eventually, but it's going to be a long night. Meanwhile, Jim Jordan, a man whose voice could curdle milk, is busy firing off subpoenas faster than a Pez dispenser at a sugar-crazed toddler's birthday party. He wants Google's internal communications, especially any whispers of contact with the Biden administration. You see, in Jordan's world, any conversation between a tech company and the government is proof positive of a liberal conspiracy to silence the righteous indignation of the American right. These two are like a pair of attack dogs, all bark and very little bite. But that doesn't mean they can't cause a whole lot of chaos. Google is now firmly in their crosshairs, and they're not likely to let up anytime soon. Google, the behemoth of search engines, is caught in a familiar predicament. How do you champion free speech while simultaneously preventing the internet from becoming a cesspool of misinformation and hate speech? It's like trying to juggle chainsaws while riding a unicycle on a tightrope. Sure, it's theoretically possible, but it's probably going to end badly. Their spokesperson, Jose Castaneda, insists that Google is committed to free speech. He claims their algorithms are neutral, unlike those nasty fact-checkers over at Meta and X, formerly Twitter, because apparently even social media platforms need a midlife crisis rebrand. Castaneda points to the success of conservative voices on YouTube, conveniently ignoring the fact that YouTube also hosts videos claiming the Earth is flat and that vaccines turn you into a 5G antenna. Google's argument boils down to this: we're just a platform, not a publisher. They want to have their cake and eat it too, reaping the benefits of being the internet's gatekeeper while shirking the responsibility that comes with it. Remember when Meta, formerly Facebook, because even tech giants can't resist a good rebrand, and X, formerly Twitter, because why be clear when you can be confusing, were the GOP's favorite punching bags? Yeah, those were the good old days. Now, it seems the Republicans have a new target in their sights, but their tactics remain eerily familiar. They're accusing Google of the same sins they accused Meta and X of: censorship, bias, and a blatant disregard for conservative values. The GOP is demanding Google follow in the footsteps of its predecessors, loosening its content moderation policies and letting the Wild West of the internet run free. It's like watching a bad rerun. The actors might be different, but the plot is tired, predictable, and frankly, a little embarrassing for everyone involved. Section 5. The Subpoena Power Play. Can Congress force Google's hand? Jim Jordan, with his signature brand of folksy aggression, is a big fan of the subpoena. It's the political equivalent of a toddler throwing a tantrum in the grocery store. Loud, disruptive, and ultimately ineffective. But hey, at least it gets attention. Jordan's latest subpoena demands Google hand over internal communications related to content moderation. He's hoping to find a smoking gun, some evidence that Google is colluding with the Biden administration to silence conservative voices. It's a long shot, kind of like trying to find a needle in a haystack, if that haystack were made entirely of Google's massive server farms. But even if Jordan finds something, it's unclear what he can actually do with it. Subpoenas might make for good political theater, but they're unlikely to force Google to make any significant changes to its policies. Section 6. A conservative conundrum: will legislation backfire? Ted Cruz, never one to shy away from a bad idea, has hinted at introducing legislation to rein in Google. It's a bold move, kind of like trying to fight a tank with a toothpick. But here's the thing. Any legislation aimed at Google could have unintended consequences for other platforms, including those favored by conservatives. Take Section 230, for example. It's the law that protects websites from lawsuits over user-generated content. Republicans have been trying to weaken Section 230 for years, claiming it gives tech companies too much power. But here's the irony. Weakening Section 230 could actually harm conservative platforms like Truth Social and X more than it hurts Google. It's a classic case of be careful what you wish for. The GOP's crusade against Google could end up backfiring spectacularly, leaving them with a Pyrrhic victory and a whole lot of egg on their faces. Section 7. Google's deep pockets, deeper strategy. Google is no stranger to political pressure. They've been down this road before, and they know how to play the game. They have an army of lobbyists, lawyers, and PR experts at their disposal, all working tirelessly to protect the company's interests. Google's strategy is simple: wait it out. They know that the political winds are always shifting. They've weathered storms before, and they're confident they can weather this one too. They'll make some concessions here and there, throw a few bones to the GOP to keep them at bay, but they're unlikely to make any fundamental changes to their core business model. Google is a well-oiled machine, and they're not about to let a few grumpy politicians throw a wrench in the works. Section 8. Trump's surprise pivot. A new era for Google? Donald Trump, a man whose relationship with Google has been more tumultuous than a Taylor Swift love song, has thrown a curveball into the mix. Despite years of railing against Google for their alleged bias, Trump recently declared, "I love Google. They didn't like me so much in the first administration, but they like me a lot now." It's a baffling statement, even by Trump's standards. But it does highlight the unpredictable nature of the political landscape. With Trump seemingly softening his stance, it remains to be seen how the rest of the GOP will proceed. Will they follow their leader's lead, or will they continue to wage war against Google? One thing's for sure. In the world of politics and tech, the only constant is change. Section 9. The future of free speech. A battlefield shifting online. The battle between the GOP and Google is about more than just content moderation. It's a microcosm of a much larger debate. How do we protect free speech in the digital age? The internet has become the new public square, a place where ideas are debated and disseminated. But with great power comes great responsibility. As tech companies like Google wield more and more influence, the question of how to regulate them becomes increasingly urgent. There are no easy answers. But one thing is clear: the future of free speech will be shaped by the decisions we make today. We can choose to allow the internet to become a wild west of misinformation and hate, or we can choose to create a more responsible and equitable online world. The choice is ours.